Kim Jong Il's leadership of Korea. Mount Baekdu, the mountain that shines with the history of the Korean Revolution, tells the great history of the leadership of Korea by Kim Jong Il, Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army. Inheriting the qualities of President Kim Il-sung, a peerless hero of Korea, and Kim Jong-suk, a woman hero of the anti-Japanese revolution, Kim Jong-il has led the Korean Revolution for several decades. Mount Gyeongnam in Pyongyang tells his university days. On the first day of his study at Kim Il-sung University in 1960, he made a determination to add glory to his motherland, Korea. The ideological and theoretical works he wrote in his university days through tireless meditation and exploration constitute treasure house in the Korean Revolution and construction. In the mid-1960s, when the situation in Korea and the world was complicated, Kim Jong-il started working at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, the general staff of the Korean Revolution. In order to consummate the revolutionary cause of President Kim Il-sung, he led the overall work of the party, state and military as President Kim Il-sung intended. Whenever the U.S. imperialists resorted to high-handedness with regard to Korea, he put them to shame, displaying the wisdom and mettle of an iron-willed commander. Realizing President Kim Il-sung's plan and intention in all realms was Kim Jong-il's firm, unshakable determination. Kim Jong-il indicated the road of building Juche-based art and literature and gave energetic guidance to this sector. Having pinpointed cinema as the main link in the whole chain of art and literature, he visited the film studios many times, giving guidance to each process of creative work, screenplay writing to start with. He once sent a letter to a film director in which he wrote his opinion on creating a film. Visiting the filming hall, he taught the cameraman and actors how to shoot and act and left the studio at midnight. The theory of the germ for an idea and the policy of speed campaign put forward by Kim Jong Il proved the secret of the successive production of excellent films and the propelling force of the cinematic revolution. Having opened a breakthrough in developing art and literature through the revolution in the cinema, he kindled the fire of a revolution of the opera. He set as the basic tasks of the opera revolution the stanzaic composition of the songs, main means of the portrayal in opera, and the introduction of pangchang and dance and three-dimensional revolving stage. Staying up all night with creative workers and artists, he guides writing the lyrics of songs and setting them to music. Greeting the dawn of a new day in the theater, he says, "We have devoted a whole night to creative work. You might feel tired, but it was worthwhile, wasn't it?" For the creation of masterpieces, he works even at night in his office. Every scene of the revolutionary operas was the fruit of his outstanding wisdom and deep exploration. With inborn artistic ability and unquenchable passion, he led the portrayal of all elements of opera and guided a rendition of the main character's songs far into the night. He even taught the creative workers the ways for making operas perfect, from the costume and hand props of the characters to the truthful rendition. The birth of the Sea of Blood type revolutionary operas was the fruit of leadership of Kim Jong Il, who selected songs among thousands with pearl-hunting care and made them masterpieces. The successful revolution in the cinema and opera convinced the creative workers and artists that Kim Jong Il is a genius of art, a musical virtuoso, and a master of creation. Kim Jong Il led the creative workers and artists to make revolution in all other sectors of art and literature. He pinpointed the talented artists in the musical sector and trains them to be skilled singers and instrument performers. The creation of masterpieces that reflect the demands of the times and aspirations of the masses of the people meant a Juche-oriented development of Korea's musical art. Korea's acrobatics tour greeted its heyday. Under Kim Jong Il's guidance, new musical instruments were developed, traditional musical instruments were improved, and a new turn was made in orchestra. Under his benevolent guidance, creative workers and artists were trained to be excellent creative artists. In the days of making revolution in art and literature, they learned Juche-oriented method of creative work and cultivated themselves ideologically and politically. To help the creative workers in their work, Kim Jong Il sometimes boarded plane with them and enabled them to enjoy a bird's-eye view of the changed appearance of their motherland. Kim Jong Il's energetic guidance brought about the introduction of TV broadcasting in Korea and the introduction of new technology into the publishing and printing sector in Korea. He set Cheongsan-ri, a rural community where the famous method of work of the Workers' Party of Korea was created, as a model unit and sent artists there to help the farmers finish rice transplanting ahead of others. Applying the method of creating a model and popularizing its experience, Kim Jong Il sorted that a Korean film studio was built as a model unit in the field of art and literature. The highest speed and highest quality displayed in creative work and construction was popularized across the country. The metro in Pyongyang was built in a magnificent way, and theaters were built as a representative of the times. Feeling it as his noble mission to materialize President Kim Il-sung's intentions, Kim Jong Il brought about a landmark turn in the work of developing the Workers' Party of Korea as demanded by the new era. Pointing out the importance of consolidating the party and enhancing its leadership role in the promotion of the revolution, he advanced the tasks for developing the party into the party of Kim Il-sung. His formulation of the revolutionary ideology of Kim Il-sung and proclamation of imbuing the whole society with the Juche idea as the highest program of the Workers' Party of Korea was a noteworthy event in the development of the party and the Korean Revolution. Under his guidance, the party consolidated itself ideologically and organizationally and set up a well-regulated leadership system in its work, demonstrating its ideological and volitional unity. It led party members and other working people to equip themselves with Kim Il-sung's Juche idea. With the belief that a man sees, hears, feels and observes as much as he understands, Kim Jong Il introduced a question and answer method, a studying method of the anti-Japanese guerrillas. This method proved effective in arming all people with the party's ideology. Having set the Juche idea as the eternal guiding ideology of the Workers' Party of Korea, Kim Jong Il did his best to defend and exalt Kim Il-sung's ideas and achievements. Inspecting the places where monuments to Kim Il-sung's achievements were being built, Kim Jong Il said that the traditions created by Kim Il-sung in the days of the anti-Japanese revolution were the eternal cornerstone of the Workers' Party of Korea. Building the area of Mount Baekdo into base for the education of the Korean people in the revolutionary traditions was an expression of Kim Jong-il's will to inherit the spirit of the anti-Japanese revolution faithfully. Kim Jong-il devoted strenuous efforts to stepping up socialist economic construction. In the mid-1970s, when Korea faced difficulties in hitting the main targets of the six-year plan, he raised a slogan, "Let the whole party mobilized for a 70-day campaign," and led the campaign in the van. He ensured that a powerful drive for motivating the working people to increased economic activity was conducted at every side. He then inspected major units of economic construction one after another. He leads them to make a breakthrough by employing high speed, lightning and finish one project after another tactics. He teaches the leading officials that motivating the people's ideas is the key to making innovation, and that the creative enthusiasm of the masses could constitute the untapped resources for increased production. Wherever he goes, he gets familiarized with the actual situation of the unit and indicates the ways for solving the problems facing the unit. With a plan to free the workers from heat-affected labor, he guides introduction of automation equipment to production in Hwanghae Iron Works and sees to it that its experience is popularized across the country. He visits Unyul mine where a long-distance conveyor belt is being built and inspires the working class there to demonstrate the mettle of the Korean people in the construction. Resolved to materialize what Kim Jong Il intended, the workers perform labor feats at their workplaces. Kim Jong Il visits the Comandante mine and even goes into deep pit phase to encourage the miners. His encouragement that Korea should make 10 or 100 steps when others are making one step inspired the workers to create a new spirit in their work. Now that the breakthrough is made in carrying out the 6-year plan, Kim Jong Il leads the people to hitting the other targets of socialist construction. The execution of the 6-year plan by the Korean people under the slogans "Forward everybody in the Spirit campaign" and meet the requirements of Juche in ideology, technology and culture, and the firmer unity of the people around their leader and the party was a brilliant materialization of Kim Jong Il's leadership. For the defense of the country and people's happiness, Supreme Commander Kim Jong Il of the Korean People's Army has paid deep attention to the development of the armed forces at every period and stage of the Korean Revolution. He led the army building and military affair by means of original military ideas and theories. Having embodied the will and mettle of its supreme commander, the Korean People's Army displayed its invincible power. Kim Jong Il instructed that the soldiers must remain alert and be prepared for combat as long as the U.S. imperialists exist on this planet. Under his leadership, the Korean People's Army has become invincible armed forces equipped with powerful means of attack and defense, and its soldiers have been trained to be a match for 100 foes. Kim Jong Il directed his effort not only to economic construction and defense build-up, but also to fine arts and art. Masterpieces of Korean painting are produced one after another, and alphabetical dance notations were created in Korea. Creation of the alphabetical dance notations brought about a turn in the development, preservation, and propagation of dance pieces in the world. It displayed the resourcefulness and wisdom of the Korean people. Kim Jong Il kindled the flames of drama revolution. Creation of the mountain shrine-style dramas, which introduced multi-scene stage, three-dimensional revolving stage and music, saved the drama from extinction, elevating the drama art onto new high. For the further development of cinematic art, Kim Jong Il advanced a germ for an idea of multi-part films like Star of Korea and guided their filming on the spot. This resulted in the creation of masterpieces that teach man the truth of life and destiny. Under Kim Jong-il's guidance, a revolution was brought about in mass media. Sometimes staying up all night, he gave his opinion on the titles and contents of articles and the layout of photographs, and polished important editorials and leading articles. Now Korea's mass media performed their mission as an ideological tool of the party in imbuing the whole society with a Juche idea. Korea's radio broadcasts faithfully what the Workers' Party of Korea intends. In Korea, the rising generation are brought up to be reliable pillars of the country, and the country has become a land of learning. Kim Jong-il devotes his all to the country's prosperity and people's happiness. With a far-reaching plan to build Pyongyang magnificently, he guides the layout of a street and the design of architectural structures. In the days of building Pyongyang in such a way that it could embody the achievements of President Kim Il-sung, he said, "Pyongyang is the heart of Korea and President Kim Il-sung's birthplace. The city must have many architectural structures that would hand down his achievements to posterity." He instructs that highest quality should be ensured in construction so that each and every structure would be perfect even 100 or 200 years later. He also says that welfare establishments should be set up in the new residential districts and characteristic parks and recreation grounds be built in every living quarters. One day on the rooftop of a high-rise building, he tells the officials to build Pyongyang with a long-term plan and in a way that befits the capital of Socialist Korea. Kim Jong Il proposed building a monumental tower that symbolizes that the Juche idea created by President Kim Il-sung is an imperishable idea. Having cherished long the plan to build a larger number of buildings that serve the people as intended by President Kim Il-sung, he clarified the race for applying socialist content to national form in construction. Guiding the construction of dwelling houses on the spot, he says that they should be built in such a way that the people living in them would feel no inconveniences and be satisfied with them. This world-class maternity hospital was also built under his care. Kim Jong-il's guidance reached construction of Pyongyang Metro, an underground palatial structure. For the happy life of the people, Kim Jong-il gives field guidance even at night. This is why the Korean people wish even in dream his good health and safety. The monumental structures built in Pyongyang sing the praises of Kim Jong-il, who made unremitting efforts for their construction. The new appearance of Pyongyang will hand down to posterity the fact that Kim Jong-il is a genius of creation who ushered in the heyday of construction in this land. The 6th Congress of the Workers' Party of Korea, held in 1980, reviewed the successes achieved in the revolution and construction since its 5th Congress and unfolded a new plan. The Congress demonstrated to the whole world that the Workers' Party of Korea, which organizes and guides all victories of the Korean people under the leadership of President Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il, is an ever victorious party. In a mass rally held in congratulation of the Congress, the Korean people shouted from the bottom of their hearts, "Glory to the party center!" Kim Jong Il was always with President Kim Il-sung. Kim Jong Il developed a Chuch idea, Kim Il-sung's creation into an idea guiding the times, and exalted Kim Il-sung's revolutionary achievements. He brought what Kim Il-sung intended to reality and drew reward for his hard work in Kim Il-sung's satisfaction and people's happiness. Regarding "We serve the people" as their motto, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il worked shoulder to shoulder so as to build on this land a country good to live in. Kim Il-sung once said that Kim Jong-il's ideas, leadership, and traits originated from his love for the people. Kim Jong-il's statesmanship is always oriented towards the people's well-being. He says to the officials, "We must always regard the people as our teacher. We must feel honor and dignity in serving them. We must serve them faithfully." Kim Jong-il concerned himself with people's clothes. Assessing the forms and colors of clothes, he inquires into whether they are made to suit the people's ages and occupations. He says that clothes should be made to meet the demands and tastes of people of every stripe, so that they would be envious of nobody in the world. Attentive to people's diet, Kim Jong-il inspects a fish shop and a boiled and dried rice factory. With a responsibility for the people's life, he devotes much of his precious time to improving their diet. The people expressed their gratitude to Kim Jong-il for taking fatherly care of their life. Kim Jong Il has got on a field guidance trip with a resolve to effect a new advance in the construction of the socialist economy for the prosperity of the country. He has activated a campaign to create a speed of the 80s in all sectors in order to make another great upsurge in economic construction. He inspects the iron works in the north, the machine building factory on the eastern coast, and many other factories and enterprises in the country, giving them wise instructions to make mass innovations. In his carriage of the running train, he plans the operations of all sectors and directs them. Having worked in the running train all through the night, he visits the workers of the Gyeongsang Associated Machinery Bureau in Hamhung on the following morning. Saying that the spirit of self-reliance is the mettle of the Korean working class, he encourages the workers to produce a 10,000-ton power press, the first of its kind in the history of Korea's machine-building industry. During the struggle to create a speed of 80s, a big leap was made in the construction of the West Sea Barrage. This was the product of the spirit of the Korean people to carry out their leaders' decisions at the cost of their lives. He highly praises the workers of the Ragwan machine factory who have produced a modern oxygen plant and a large rotary drill by their own efforts. He gives publicity to their example throughout the country. He made sure that these workers were provided with precious political lives and honored with high state commendations. Kim Jong Il, the incarnation of love and morality, ensured that cemeteries were built to the memory of the revolutionary, patriotic mothers who had performed the heroic feats for the prosperity of their country. Saying that the anti-Japanese mothers were heroes and exemplary revolutionaries who had been unfailingly loyal to President Kim Il-sung, he made sure that their souls were immortalized. Under the meticulous care of Kim Jong Il, who pays close attention to the development of sports, many sportsmen and sportswomen have brought honor to their country and raised its dignity, and superb mass gymnastics have been created. The students send up cheers with a feeling of gratitude to the people's great leader who raises the young generation to acquire knowledge, morality, and strong physique. He proposed to hold the 13th World Festival of Youth and Students in Pyongyang and wisely led the festival to become a great political festival to strengthen anti-imperialist solidarity and anti-imperialist joint struggle. To ensure success in the festival, it takes measures to construct in a short span of time a sports village equipped with stadiums and comprehensive sports and service facilities. The opening ceremony of the Pyongyang Festival, which was held in the presence of President Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il, was most enthralling. The Pyongyang Festival, held under the slogan "For Anti-Imperialist Solidarity, Peace and Friendship," will be long remembered in the history of the Koreans and mankind as a great political festival which prizes Kim Jong Il with unusual intelligence, organizing ability, and enterprising drive. When the U.S. imperialists and their stooges were clamoring for a war to crush socialism in Korea, Kim Jong-il, Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, ordered the whole country into semi-war state. In the confrontation against the United States, he led the people to get everything prepared to take the initiative in countering whatever provocation by the enemy. Moore, who defended his faith without yielding to all sorts of torture and appeasement in prison in South Korea for 34 years, is embraced by socialist motherland by Kim Jong-il. This is a great victory of the Korean people. Korea's victory in the confrontation against the United States was a historic event that elevated to the highest the international prestige of Juche Korea, which is under the leadership of President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il. Korea proved itself to be a great power of ideology, a great power of politics, and a great military power. Korea, which has always been victorious and glorious, sheds brilliant rays all around because it is led by Kim Jong-il, successor to President Kim Il-sung. The unexpected death of President Kim Il-sung, the great father of the Korean people, was the greatest loss of the Korean nation and mankind, as well as their greatest misfortune. When the whole nation was grief-stricken, Kim Jong-il, who was more sorrowful than anyone else, shook up the people. He made a Kumsusan Memorial Palace the sacred temple of Chuche and placed President Kim Il-sung there to be immortal. He thus fulfilled the earnest desire of the people who yearn for the president. The great leader, Comrade Kim Il-sung, will always be with us, and let us arm ourselves more firmly with the revolutionary idea of the great leader, Comrade Kim Il-sung. These slogans, raised by Kim Jong Il, inspire the grief-stricken people and soldiers with redoubled strength and courage. Supreme Commander Kim Jong Il visited soldiers at the front in pursuit of army-centered politics to safeguard the red flag of revolution which symbolizes whole life of President Kim Il-sung. The Supreme Commander was at the front when the imperialists and other enemies were clamoring that Socialist Korea would hold down the red flag. When asked whether they will surrender and live as slaves of imperialism or will fight and keep the honor of the Guards, the soldiers answered as follows: "Great General, it is our honor whether we live or die in the fight under your command." Kim Jong Il was among his soldiers on festivals, holidays, and even on his birthdays. He crossed and recrossed the steep and high Cholyang Pass, catnapping and eating rice balls on his trip to the units at the front, evolving protean strategy and tactics in a deep tunnel in the north one day and on a high hill at the front another day. On his endless journey of field direction, the Supreme Commander teaches the men the Juche-orientated strategy and tactics, inspires them with the strength of a match for 100 force, and encourages them to keep national defense impregnable. Saying that the Supreme Commander can exist only when there are his soldiers, he takes loving care of them as if they were gold green. Supreme Commander Kim Jong Il takes pleasure in staying with the officers and men of the People's Army. Saying that nothing should be spared for the soldiers, he instructs that good meals should be provided for them and that bean sprouts should be supplied regularly. Showing endless love and confidence in them, he leads the soldiers, the sons and daughters of workers and farmers to become heroes. Because the officers and men of the People's Army who safeguard your Supreme Commander with their very lives, entrusting their destiny and future to him, defend the country, socialist career is impregnable. Under the guidance of the Supreme Commander, the merited chorus of the Korean People's Army encourages the army and people with barrage of songs. The officers' rivals also work for the revolution with a high sense of pride and confidence, encouraged by the Supreme Commander, who holds them up as revolutionaries fighting shoulder to shoulder with their husbands. Kim Jong Il showed great trust in the People's Army by giving them the task of undertaking a major front of socialist construction in addition to the mission of national defense. By giving soldiers this honorable task, he encouraged them to carry out this task with their lives and to create a revolutionary spirit of soldiers. The Supreme Commander's firm confidence in the soldiers and the soldiers' trust in him have produced a might of unbreakable unity. Thanks to this, many monumental structures have been erected. These monumental structures for the prosperity of the country substantiate the validity and vitality of army-centered revolutionary leadership. In the latter half of the 1990s, when Korea was on an arduous march and forced march because of the U.S. imperialist maneuvers to isolate and stifle the republic, and because of the natural calamities, Kim Jong Il visited the workers and other people of Chaggang province. Bearing in mind his instruction that bullets, not sweets, will save the people from falling into the lot of slavery again, the workers in Chaggang province are living and working like undying birds. The workers and other people of Chaggang province strive under the motto, "Let us go smiling, though the way is thorny." Although they are too hungry to stand up, they tighten their belts by their machines, asking for work to do. Yearning for Kim Jong Il, these people have built power stations by their own efforts and electrify their province by courageously overcoming all the difficulties. Kim Jong Il called the fighting spirit of these people as the Gange spirit, the people who had carried out the arduous march with success. He held them up as the front rankers of the whole country. In order to spread the Gange spirit all over the country, Kim Jong Il visits the workers of the Sunjan Steelworks and encourages them to raise a torchlight of a great upsurge. The workers were overcoming manifold difficulties caused by the imperialists. Because a powerful nation has to be built by our own efforts, Kim Jong Il encourages the people to display the revolutionary spirit of self-reliance everywhere he goes. Saying that defeatism and the worship of great powers should be crushed by the iron hammer of self-reliance, Kim Jong-il trusts the working class as the main force of the revolution, who must continue to perform heroic feats, teaching them the truth that heroic feats can be proud only when they are performed continuously, just as flowers can be beautiful only when they are in bloom without withering. Kim Jong-il has led all sectors of socialist construction to effect leap forward, to turn adversity into favorable situation, misfortune into blessings, and to realize the hopes for a bright future as soon as possible. Kim Jong-il is on an endless journey of field direction, giving rise to the revolutionary spirit of soldiers and the Gange spirit everywhere he goes, inspiring the people with a confidence in building a powerful nation and optimism for the prosperity of the country. He launched a blueprint for national prosperity and set in motion the full-charged endeavors to make history of transformation for the people's well-being. As a result, Korea's landscape has got new appearance. He initiated a grand plan of realigning the crop fields throughout the country and standardized the size and shape, and enlisted the servicemen and civilian people in this nature harnessing project. This vast, refreshing scenery of changed landscape is the fruit of Kim Jong-il's daring plan and efficient leadership. The overriding concern of Kim Jong-il's activity is the well-being of the people, including workers, and on his inspection trips across the country, he always calls at dormitories and dwelling homes to look closely into the people's living conditions. Everyone who had an opportunity to meet Kim Jong-il said to him earnestly, "Please don't worry about our living. When we are through with hardship, we'll be well off. Our only wish is your good health." Deeply impressed, Kim Jong-il said to the officials, "How laudable our people are. We fail to supply them with sufficient food or clothes, but they dismiss it only as passing hardship and continue to support our party and socialist system. When they see me, they always thank me. We must work to provide a fulfilling, prosperous life for these people who trust and follow the party only." He is determined to strive to give the people what material comfort he can. This is why they follow him as their father and tell him even their innermost feelings and thoughts. These scenes of single-hearted unity, the true profile and source of the might of Korea, are based on the people's conviction that national prosperity and their well-being are in store when they follow Kim Jong Il, the destiny of the nation and the father of the harmonious country, to the ends of the earth. Kim Jong Il is inspecting scientific research institutes, stressing the need to give top priority to the development of science anchored on economic progress and people's well-beings. With a keen eye on the prospect of a powerful nation and higher living standards, it teaches the way to train talents who will raise Korea to the level of the world's technological powers. As a solution to the food problem, he emphasizes that in view of the limited area of arable land in Korea, two-crop farming should be encouraged and the principle of right crop on the right soil be strictly observed. He has designated Daehongdan County with a vast open fields as the pace-setter of potato farming and visited this remote area on several occasions. State-of-the-art poultry and livestock farms have mushroomed in the wake of his Sicily trips. The development of the 40-kilometer-long orchards in Gwyle County and the construction of catfish farms around the country are all offsprings of his devotion to the good of the people. In order to tackle the problem of clothing, he inspects textile mills, indicating ways of placing the textile industry on a modern scientific footing. He tours foodstuff factories in his efforts to improve the people's diet. At the cosmetics factory, he encourages the workers to produce quality toilet articles in a great quantity for the people. At all times he finds himself among the people saying, "We must grow flowers even on the rock if it is a people's wish." As he is the incarnation of love for the people believe in him as in the heaven. His indefatigable guidance has opened up a bright vista in the cause of national reunification as well. Whenever he meets the visiting overseas Koreans, he says that hard work for national reunification means patriotism and that reunification should be achieved by Koreans' efforts under the banner of independence, peaceful reunification, and great national unity. He encourages them, saying, "Genuine patriotism is in the struggle for national reunification. We must reunify the country through the pooled efforts of the nation and hand over a reunified country to our posterity." Kim Jong Il is always ready to join hands with anyone who supports national reunification by transcending differences in political view, religious belief, ideology, and tenets. He said, "We are willing to welcome all who desire reunification regardless of their past records. It is our party's invariable stand that the gate to reunification should be flung open with the nation's united efforts." With the landmark Inter-Korean Summit, Kim Jong Il has written a new page in the annals of the cause of reunification. The June 15, 2000 North-South Joint Declaration has paved the way toward the independent reunification of the peninsula through national unity and signified a turning point in the process of inter-Korean reconciliation and unity. In a meeting with the mass media executives from South Korea, Kim Jong Il indicates the ways to pull down the barrier of division with inter-Korean unity and appears to rally the entire nation in this cause by unifying the purpose of media of the North and South. A rosy future is just on the horizon, coming nearer as Kim Jong Il, the leader of the Korean nation and lodestar of national reunification, is steering this course forward by dint of his fervent patriotism and broad-minded personality. Kim Jong Il performed lasting feats for the world revolution by means of his energetic external activities geared to making independence prevail throughout the world. In 1985, at the invitation of the Chinese party and government leaders, Kim Jong Il visited China, boosting the traditional ties of bilateral friendship onto new heights of excellence. Against a backdrop of mounting struggle for independence against imperialism and the more undisguised moves of imperialist interference and aggression, Kim Jong Il received many foreign guests, heads of party and state, and prominent figures of political, public, and cultural circles. He explained to them the whole range of theoretical and practical problems arising in the building of an independent new world. He explores the reactionary nature of the imperialist mudslinging against socialism and shed full light on the race to defend and consummate a cause of socialism. In the early 1990s, when apprehension over the prospect of socialism and mankind was prevalent, he met many foreign progressive figures and inspired them with staunch faith in socialism. Kim Jong Il's meeting with Russian President Putin in Pyongyang was a landmark event in the annals of Korea-Russia friendship. Always ready to meet all the guests who respect Korea's sovereignty and dignity, he met prominent political figures from the West. In his contribution to modern political history and the global cause of independence, he is paying another visit to China, and his talks with Chinese leaders have opened up a new phase of bilateral friendship. And arresting the world attention, he visited Russia by train, covering a distance of 20,000 kilometers across the Eurasian continent for 20 days. His high-profile visit for Korea-Russia friendship has earned him worldwide reputation as a world statesman. The world community expressed admiration for his achievement in his visit to Russia, saying he is a leader of the socialist movement of the world, great champion of justice and peace, and veteran statesman of the world. His meetings with visiting world magnates, including Chinese leaders, made a notable contribution to the prevalence of independence throughout the world. The brilliant history of Kim Jong Il's leadership has enriched the world history of politics. Cheers resounding in Korea are an expression of the Korean people's unqualified support for and trust in Kim Jong Il. The Korean people and the progressive people of the world express their highest respect to Kim Jong Il. Kim Jong Il's history of revolutionary leadership will go down with a century replete with victory and glory.